at Mercury is that if you can sell, if you can manage your sales through your DMs and WhatsApp DMs alone, you are not selling fast enough. And it's the reason why we built Seller. And today we're at the cusp of something very interesting, retail and shopping season, which is Black Friday. I mean, say for Jumia, for instance, Jumia has already started. But I mean, we know that some other brands will start in the days and weeks to come. And for that, we thought we need to prep our merchants to know how to take advantage of the Black Friday and Cyber Monday season. And that's why we invited Osaze Osoba, who has been kind enough to join us. Just to give you an idea of who he is, he's a thoroughbred professional in the digital marketing and technology space. He has over the last 7 years, he has worked with a variety of small, medium, and enterprise scale companies to deliver on serious marketing and business outcomes. Um, with the skill sets and with the wisdom he has built around the industry. Osaze believes that every business has a chance to grow if they find the right product for their desired markets and figure out why it sticks and scale to reach the largest addressable audience. It helps clients succeed by understanding the products being built, discovering what customers see as value in it and building on that base while fine-tuning engineering and marketing efforts. So he's really thoroughbred in the business. Currently, Osaze works at Google as an analytical consultant, and at Google he helps large scale enterprises in the West African market deliver on important marketing and business outcomes with digital and marketing technologies we have available today. On that note, I would like to welcome Osaze to the call. And the next voice you'd hear is our dear speaker and facilitator today, Osaze Osoba. Thank you.
Thanks, Kamala. Thanks for the very deep introduction. Uh, okay, so I will jump into it. So who's currently presenting? Just so I'm sure. Is that Wumi?
No, that's Tofumi, but she's gonna be managing everything.
All right, awesome. Okay, so I'm here to mostly talk about like the basics around how you think about Black Friday, and then mostly to also answer your questions, because for the most part, I think that this will go better if you guys have specific questions to ask. So it becomes easier for me to help you think through like what you're trying to do as businesses. So if we move on to the next slide, there are 5 things that we're going to look into today. The first is what you will communicate in every phase during Black Friday. The second is how you would distribute your message to the different audiences, and what metrics will you use to evaluate success, how you would measure these metrics, and then how do you break through the clutter, because it's usually a very busy period with everybody saying their own thing, right? So how do you try to stand out as a business? So the next slide, we will look specifically into communicating at different phases. With Black Friday, it's important. Tofumi, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So it's important to keep in mind that Black Friday typically starts early. I know that most people consider Black Friday to be I think it's the last Friday of November or something. But the search for deals would usually start much earlier. So you notice in that graph behind that it's gradually ramping up from week 5, and then it peaks on the Black Friday week itself, and then steeply declines over the first week and mostly ends by the second week. So it's important to keep in mind that users are already searching as of now for Black Friday deals. So you would see some more popular brands already advertising early deals. So usually you want to try and generate hype while that ramp up is happening, right? You want to try and ensure that people are already getting a sense of what you'll be doing before the Black Friday week itself. And then at the peak of Black Friday, you want to be as clear as possible in your communication to make sure people know what deals you have available, what your value adds for Black Friday are. So maybe you're offering free shipping, stuff like that. You always want to make sure that all of those things are available and very clear on the week itself of Black Friday. And then, oh, sorry, you can't hear me, right? And the last thing is also that you want to convert last minute shoppers. So what will usually happen is that some people are generally late, like it's just how life is, right? So some people would miss that week and then start checking for what to get immediately after Black Friday is gone, right? So you want to ensure that for those last minute guys who haven't necessarily bought anything during the Black Friday sale, that you have some things to sell to them, because I mean every sale for you as a business is good sale, right? So these are the 3 different phases that you want to keep in mind. And these are the 3 different ways that you want to engage users. So building up to Black Friday, generating enough hype for the upcoming offers. On the Black Friday week itself, ensure that you are like converting users with the deals and offers that you have. And then immediately after Black Friday, you want to ensure that for people who didn't get a chance to buy something on Black Friday, that they get, like they have some additional, like they have some deals that you could still buy from. So if you move on to the next slide, we'll talk about how to distribute your message across audiences. So there are 2 ways that you currently do this. First would be organic, and then second would be paid. Organic, as it says, usually means it's free. It means that you're not spending any money to like to promote your business. There are different ways that you could do this. Google search is a very popular channel for, especially for retailers, because organic search is usually one of the best performing channels for retailers. And Google is the largest search engine in the world, so naturally it's like a very good channel to have traffic coming through. And then you also want to promote on social media. I'm sure that all of you would already have social media channels that you can promote on. I'm also expecting, I'm partly hoping that most of you also do some level of email marketing. So with email marketing, you want to get the email addresses of users who have already purchased with you. In some cases, this could also be SMS marketing, for example. So it's not necessarily just email, although with SMS you would have to, it will be slightly more expensive to fund that particular channel. The one thing to just keep in mind here, as I mentioned this, is the advice is never to buy these lists of like emails and SMSs, phone numbers. You usually don't want to do that because it's very bad practice. It's also a bit irritating for the users who get the messages. In some cases, you find that a user gets a message that was unsolicited, and rather than being neutral or buying from the client or the brand who sends the message, they actually get a negative feeling towards a brand because it's a bit intrusive to just send people messages that they didn't solicit for. So when we talk about email and SMS marketing, just keep in mind, don't buy. The other thing is also that it doesn't work out well most of the time because people don't really care to receive messages from people that they don't know, right? So if you already have people that have shopped with you in the past, create a list of those emails or a list of those phone numbers. Send them a message to say, hey, like, we know that you've shopped with us before. Now we're doing this thing where we're giving you like 50% off anything that you buy, right? At that point, I'm more likely to shop from you. The last that you can leverage on is word of mouth, because but the other thing is also just keep in mind that word of mouth is harder to control. So it's just one thing that you would get, but you can't say exactly how many users you will get from that. So my advice would be leverage channels like Google search, social media, email marketing, SMS marketing to get users to communicate with users during the Black Friday period. When we come to paid channels, you can also run paid ads on Google search. You can run ads on the display and video networks as well. So you can run ads on YouTube, for example, if you wanted to see video ads of the offerings that you had. And on the display side, I'm sure most of you have gone to some websites and you see like a banner ad, like on the AKG, for example, on the CNN, you'll see like images on the side that are promoting different businesses. So that's the display network. And you can also pay for ads to be shown on those websites or on YouTube. And it's always easy because you can also target like who specifically you want to see. So if you're a brand that is into casual fashion wears, for example, you can specifically search for people who are interested in fashion and interested in casual fashion, not luxury items or sports wear, stuff like that. You can be specific about who you want to see your ads, which means that even with small budgets, so I had a friend, for example, a few years ago, they used to run ads for like $10 a day. $10 is okay, now it's like 4 5, but then it was 3 something. And she used to make money off it because she would make about 20K or more with the 3 something that she was spending. So it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be spending like a Jumia or like a Konga. Even with the smaller budgets that you have, it's still very possible to run ads across these channels and get people to buy on your platform. Social media ads is also something that you could be doing from a paid channel point of view. And if you do not want to pay for ads, it's also possible to use influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is interesting because it can go in 2 ways depending on what your relationship is like with this influencer. So one outcome is that you pay someone to maybe tweet something for you or put up an Instagram post. I generally don't like that approach. But the other approach is you ask someone to use a product that you have and then just give an honest review on it. Like whatever they say is their own. So good or bad, they say the same. It just means that you have to have enough confidence in your product though, because you don't want them putting out bad press for you. But if it's a situation where you actually do have confidence in the products that you sell, and you find someone who is willing to just take the products, use it, and say what they think about it without necessarily telling them what to say, that usually is a bit more organic in the sense that the opinion is that person's own. The person's followers are more likely to listen to that opinion rather than when you just type out something and say, post this thing for me. So influencer marketing is also something that you can do, and it's something that you can get relatively cheap if you do it well, especially in the sense of giving out products as against paying an influencer to do something for you. It will be some more trial and error because not every influencer would pay attention to what you're doing or agree to it, but like it's an option for you. Right, awesome. So if we move on to the next slide, what we now must consider is what metrics would you use to evaluate success for these marketing campaigns? And on the next slide, we discuss some of those metrics. So some of you will identify this as your typical marketing funnel, right? So the marketing funnel starts with a very broad top level thing like building awareness. So you just want people to see your message or see your ad or see your brand somewhere. Influencing consideration is usually interaction with your brand, right? So they interact with your posts, they click on your ads, you start influencing consideration that way because person's not thinking about whether or not they should buy your product. Driving action is closing the sale, right? So especially for retail brands, is someone making a purchase of a product, and then growing loyalty is to encourage people to purchase more. So upselling is how some of you would know this, and then advocating for your business. So you might find that if you sell dresses, for example, and you sell shoes, and someone buys a dress, you might say, hey, you bought a dress, you might need a shoe to go with this. So if you buy a shoe with us, we'll give you a bracelet for free, or we'll give you the shoe at 20% off, something like that, right? So that's upselling, because you know that as long as the person needs a dress, they probably need something to go with it. They might have and they might not have, but it's a chance for you to upsell and get them to buy something else with you. So if we consider the actual metrics to track with each of these steps, on the next slide, I put in some possible metrics that you can track. So with awareness, Tofu, if you could help move on to the next slide. With awareness, it will be things like reach, impressions, so how many people saw your ads, how many times did they see the ads, what are your email open rates? So if you sent out an email to 100 people, how many of them opened the email? So those are the basic things that you can use to check like a top level awareness metric. And then as you go further down, you now want to see how many people clicked on those ads, or how many people clicked on the links in the email. How many pages did they view when they got on your website? What's the bounce rate for those things, right? And then if you go a level further and go into driving action, then you start to look at things like add to cart, checkout. Those are the things that you want to measure. So how many people actually make purchases on your website? And then growing loyalty is repeat purchases and referrals. So if you run a retail store and 100% of the traffic is always new, even after you've been in business for a couple of months, then you're either selling houses or cars, or you're not doing business right. Because if I'm buying something that is worth 5K and I'm only buying from you once and I'm never coming back, I probably didn't like the product probably didn't work, or you didn't leave a lasting impression, right? So as retail businesses, especially for like pure retail, where you're looking at things like fashion items or electronics, usually those needs come up frequently. So you want to try and ensure that you get repeat purchases from your customers, because a repeat user is much cheaper to get than a new user, right? And then you also want your existing users to refer other people to you as well, because that helps to build your business. So if you move on to the next slide, we discussed there how to track these different things that you want to measure. Next slide. So I wanted to ask a quick question. Who can tell what tool we would be using to track? Tofumi, why are you showing all my answers? So who can tell what tool we use to track awareness, for example, given that these are the metrics that we want to check, impressions, reach, social shares, how often people see our ads, stuff like that. Who can tell what tools we can use to track awareness? You can just type it in the box. Yeah, please. Anyone? I guess you can unmute if you wanted to as well. Anyone work for me?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So this is a question from Shepherd's Hub. Okay, you can actually use your Google Analytics to track the metrics, then Facebook Pixel also can do. And so that I know Facebook Pixel, then Google Analytics.
Okay. So he's mentioned Google Analytics. Does anyone have any conflicting opinions on using Google Analytics to track awareness? Anyone? Okay. So Google Analytics is a tool that you usually use to track activity on your website. It's the same thing with the Facebook Pixel as well, and the Google Ads conversion tracking code. All of those things track activity on your website. If you look at awareness as a goal, awareness, we usually talk about things like impressions. So how many people saw your ad? Whether or not they clicked on your ad is a different case right now. But how many people saw your ad? How many people did you reach? How many times did they see it? all of that information is not yet in analytics, but they come into analytics when you go a step further and you look at influencing consideration. So when a user clicks on an ad, they land on your website. Analytics will pick that up. They land on your website, they view a couple of pages, analytics picks that up as well, same as the pixels that you referred to. So from an awareness point of view, you might not be able to track that with analytics, but you'll be able to track it with, you'll be able to track consideration with analytics because you can see what people do after they've clicked on the ad and they've landed on your website. Analytics will also be good to track your actions. So people adding items to carts and people actually checking out. Analytics will be good if you also use a CRM. So if you're on the Seller platform, for example, my assumption is that part of things that you probably see is how many people have checked out on your store. So all of those information will be available to you there. And then you usually would use analytics to check loyalty. So how many people are purchasing multiple times on your store, or did they refer someone to you? So on the next slide, I've highlighted all of these things, different platforms that you can use to track these metrics. And you just need to try and, I think that for the most part, you want to ensure that you have analytics data to report on, so that you know who is coming to your website, where they're coming from, what they do when they get on your website. The other thing that you can also use is the Search Console, which might not be very popular. You guys might not know this, but what it does is that it will help you see what people are searching for when they find you on Google search. So if you sell shoes, for example, Search Console will tell you that the person that landed on your website searched for red shoes in Lagos or buy shoes online. It helps to give you an idea of what people search for when they find your business. All right, awesome. And then we'll move on to, I believe, the last section, which talks about breaking through the clutter. And for the most part here, you want to ensure that your messaging is clear, it's concise, you're communicating upfront. So I don't know how many of you have seen like posts or ads where someone is selling something and the price isn't there. It's a very frustrating experience because, like, if I was going to buy, that would be the first thing I would check, right? So either your product is too expensive and you're ashamed to put it up front, or you're just trying to be dubious because you've hidden the cost somewhere, or something must be wrong for you to tell me that you're selling this shirt, but you don't tell me the price, right? There's usually just something off about it for me as a consumer if I see that kind of behavior. So especially during Black Friday, people have an abundance of deals for the most part to select from. So you always have to be upfront and say exactly what your value proposition is, because if you don't say it, most people don't have the patience to wait to understand it or to find it somewhere else, right? So if you're offering free shipping, for example, don't hide that. Don't put this at the end of the checkout page because there's just no point in me seeing it at the very end. If you're offering 50% off everything, make sure you say that in every place where the user sees your communication, so that they know upfront what they're getting, right? So you want to try to be as clear as possible and communicate your offers upfront. Don't let people have to like dig to find them. Yeah. On the next page, we talk about what do we talk about? Tofumi, if you help me move on to the next slide. Thank you. Tofumi hasn't changed the slides. Yes, so on the next slide, we talk about getting users to think about you early enough. Right, so just like I mentioned, shopping starts early. So one slide before. So shopping starts early, so you want to ensure that people are thinking about the offers that you're going to provide on Black Friday. You also can start giving out these deals early, because what would happen is that you don't necessarily want to wait till Black Friday where everybody has a deal up for you to start selling yours, right? So it doesn't have to, there's no rule that says it must be on Black Friday. If you're going to offer 50% off, why not offer that early? If you start that a week early before everybody has started doing their own sale, then I'm more inclined to buy from you because like I can buy it early enough, right? So start getting users to think about you early by providing these deals early enough, so that people can start thinking about you when they're thinking about Black Friday. And the last thing is part of the general behavior that we notice for Black Friday is people buy for others, right? So you want to emphasize that that's a possibility with your store or with your product. So you might find that, and this actually happens a lot. So if you're like a female only brand, you would notice that a sizable portion of your customers are guys. It's not because the guys are going to be wearing dresses, it's just because they're buying for someone else, right? So one way to also break the clutter to kind of increase your own market share is to ensure that people understand that your products can be bought by a wide variety of people. So if you sell shoes, package it as buy shoes for your girlfriend or something, in which case you've just addressed a whole new market. So you've left the purely female market that everybody's struggling for to try and buy shoes with them. And you jumped over to this male audience and you're trying to get them to buy shoes for their significant other. And you tell them that it's 50% off, right? So depending on what kind of products you sell, you can very easily open up your target audience by getting people to see that they can buy for others, especially if you're in a niche market. So if your products are very specific to a particular gender or a particular age demographics, don't only promote to those age demographics or genders during Black Friday because you'll be selling yourself short. Try to promote to people who would be interested in buying for your customers so that you can essentially increase your market share in some way by increasing your target audience. So those are all the tips that I had for you guys. I'm open to answering specific questions now. So if you have any questions to ask, please let me know and then I will do my best to answer them.
Thank you so much, Osaze. Guys, this would be a nice time to ask Osaze questions. And I mean, folks from the Mercury team can also ask questions that they believe merchants would find very interesting.
Hello?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, let's go speaking again. So, Osaze, I want to ask, from your experience with working at Google and managing the analytics section, I know that you must have helped some big organizations to run some of their promotional offers. So I'm actually asking, what type of promotional offers do you think gets more engagement or more conversion from your years of experience that the small business owner can actually take on and convert to?
Okay. So I think that that's an interesting question. So I might not be able to say what promotional offers my clients run, for example, that give like good engagement. But what I can say is there are easy ways to check what people are searching for. So it doesn't look like I can share here. But if you check Google Trends, with Google Trends, you can typically get a sense of search interest in certain things, right? So if you're a retailer that sells all types of fashion items, then you could go on Google Trends and then type in the different things that you sell and see the ones that people are most interested in. If someone from the Mercury side can share their screen and do like a quick Google Trends example, then that could be helpful. But essentially what you want to do is go to trends.google.com, type in all of the different products that you have available, and you will see where the most search interest is. So if you have shoes, dresses, hats, and jewelry, for example, you can type those in, see which ones are most searched for, and then use that to inform what you should probably be running offers for. Because if people are searching for shoes more than they're searching for jewelry, for example, then you can take that as an indication of where user interests lie and run more promotional offers for shoes. Right? So that would be my suggested approach, because you can't necessarily you can't really tell, you can't preempt what kind of promotional offer will work without having some level of data to back it. And Trends is a free public tool that you can use to check that. So I'll just put in the URL here on chat. You can just go there and type in a few things. If you use that tool, just make sure to change the country, because by default you'll be in the US. So just change the country to Nigeria, and then type in all of the products that you offer, see which one gets the most search interests, and you should be able to use that to determine what you should probably be promoting during the Black Friday period. Are there any other questions?
Hello, folks. Any other questions, or are we entirely clear? It's not every day we get to lock down Osaze for this, generous number of minutes. So please let's make the best use out of it. All right. Thanks. Osaze also dropped the website for the URL for Google Trends in the chat box. Trends.google.com. Okay, I think he's trying to demo one of the things he mentioned. All right, so I'll just leave Osaze to it for a second.
That's not me, but whoever is sharing, you can just type in shoes for a start under explore topics, so enter a search term. Yeah, yep, and then once that loads, just click the plus button, type in dress or dresses under the compare section, and then maybe also type in phones. So I mean, if you just look at these three alone, this gives you a sense of the demand for these different products. And you would notice that phones, especially over the last few months, has increased its lead, but it looks like it's closing back down again recently. But essentially, this can help you determine what to run promotional offers on. So if comparing shoes to dresses, for example, also looks like dresses have more of a search interest than shoes on a general scale over time. So this could help you give an idea of like what people want. And if you scroll down, you would see a breakdown by states as well. So where are the searches coming from? This is not expected, but it looks like there's interest for shoes in the north. And if you can also change that to see like additional states, or then change the interest or anything. I think if you scroll down, you would also see related queries. Right, red shoes are the 7 dwarfs. I have no idea what that is. Later shoes for ladies, Air Jordan. So again, this can give you an idea of what people actually want when they search for these things. You can also see people searching for how to make shoes. So looking at these could help you understand like what people need per time. And again, like if you keep scrolling, you will see related queries for other products as well. So just use that to kind of determine what kind of things you should be promoting, right? So for phones, for example, it's giving you the specific phones that people are searching for. In this case, it looks like it's a Techno. That seems to be breaking up. Yeah, so use this as much as you can. It's free, and there's no reason to not use it. So I would say just use it anytime you want.
I just want to quickly add to what Zazie just mentioned, that it would be good to also look at this year on year to see the last quarter of last year compared to the current quarter this year, just to see the relative volume of how interest has grown or how interest has declined.
Yep. Thank you for that, Abdul. That's very important also. But one of the other key things here is just to show that there are a lot of your products that have bigger markets than just Lagos State. You can advertise to markets in the north, in the in the middle belt, and the likes. For instance, with the example that we saw here, right? So yeah, that was very insightful. Thank you so much. I'd like to find out if we have any other questions. If we don't, Tofumi will take us a little more on some offers we have for you on Seller.
Yeah, Damola, I'm actually taking that.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Osaze, for a great session. So to just bring this to a close, Black Friday is approaching us pretty soon, and we think that you should start running ads now. Start getting people to visit your storefront to see what you have available, and just to start ordering. And to do that with Seller, I'm not sure everybody knows that there is a gold plan. So you can actually upgrade from the free plan, which is already great, to the gold plan, where you have more features that you can use to, just get more sales. Some of the features that we have available on the gold plan. So the first one, which is really important, is that you get to have access to more data. So you can, so there's a Facebook pixel tracking where you can actually track your Facebook ads by adding the Facebook pixel codes to your Seller store. So this is available on the gold plan, but it's not on the free plan. So to run your ads effectively, to track sales, to run conversion-based ads, you need to install a Facebook pixel code, and that's available on the gold plan. There's also the Google Pixel tracking. So to also run ads on your to run Google Ads, you also need to implement some codes, and you get access to these features when you upgrade to a gold plan. You also get to see more in-depth analytics features, so you can tell the people where your traffic is coming from. You can tell how many people visited your store today. You can tell the different states. You can tell their age. You can just get more information that can help you sort of like refine your strategy and just make more decisions based on this data. You also get to use your own custom domain. I mean, this is a big thing that we hear from merchants. So they don't want to be mystore.seller.ng. You can actually just be mystore.com or mystore.ng. You get this with the gold plan. So, and the gold plan is just $5.55 for a month. So it renews every month. It's a subscription-based model. So you pay $5.55 every month and you get all these features. Plus you also get access to having us run ads for you on a monthly basis. I mean, you pay for your ads, but we sort of like set it up for you and manage it for you. And then you also get a new store templates, which is really beautiful and which we are rolling out really soon. So these are some of the things that you get on the paid plan, and you're free to just send Tofumi or myself a message if you would like to upgrade in time for Black Friday. So that's basically it. And if you're interested in running ads for your store for your Black Friday sales, I'm happy to set it up for you. Google ads, Facebook ads, you can always reach out to me and I'll set that up for you. So yeah, that's basically it. Is there any questions about all my ramblings? Does somebody have any questions about the gold plan, about the ads, anything whatsoever? Okay, I guess no one has any questions. So Damola, over to you again.
All right, thank you so much. Please again, feel free to reach out to Wumi. All right, so Wumi, please on the WhatsApp group, just say hello to Jennifer, perhaps with the Mac seller phone. All right, all your questions will be asked. I can see a question here that if I want to upgrade, but I just want to try it out for like a month, can I do it, or is it compulsory renewal? We will address that for you on the group. All right. All right. I think we are good. For further questions, please send an email to support@seller.ng, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions, and make it a lot more easier for you to thrive on the websites that you're able to set up with us. Yep, I think that is it. So with that,
all right, thank you, Damola. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We hope that this has been enlightening. Thank you, Osaze, for taking the time. Damola, for shedding light on some of the things. As Damola has said, if you have any questions, you can post it on the Telegram or WhatsApp group. By the way, quick reminder: if you are on the WhatsApp group, it's going to be disabled or deactivated by Friday. So I will send the link for Telegram. We're looking at security. I will post that on there so you can join as one. Then if you have any questions, the numbers and the email that I use are in the chat box, so you can just take them from there, or you can just drop a message on the WhatsApp or Telegram. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. We will keep you updated, as to any further webinars we have to prepare you for Black Friday. We hope that you have, well, money filled Black Friday sale this year. So have a great day. It was so great to have you guys.
All right, then. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next time.